Hello, reaction video. Today we're going to take a look at the Mega Master League. We're going to have here no Megas allowed. I'm not sure if Primals are also allowed. Like here on PvP, they're still in there, so I guess they're going to stay allowed. But they're going to be the best Pokemon for sure. Kyogre and Groudon, even though it doesn't look like it here, they are by far the best Pokemon to use in this meta. They basically don't really have answers. If you saw before where we showcased the Primal Groudon, not even something like flying types can handle this Pokemon, like the Salamence or whatever. Salamence, like the matchup in general here, if you just take a look at this, now where the Fire Punch is stab as well, you're going to get them super low, like 39 or whatever HP here for this scenario. It's just wild. Like you have a Pokemon that resists both your typings, does neutral damage against you, and like it's still so close. It's just a wild thing. Like Primal, Groudon, and Kyogre are just way too strong. We have as other options here Gyarados, which is going to be a very decent one because it will be able to resist at least Kyogre's attacks. Still hits neutral, and Groudon, you hit super effective, double super effective actually now because it's part fire typing now with the Awkward Tail. But it's definitely still a little bit of a trickier one because one Precipice Blade is most likely going to knock you straight out of here. Stompat going to be a very good one. Latios going to be a very good one. Charizard can still do something. But after this, basically after Latios and Charizard, it goes down pretty fast. Gengar is not as good anymore. We're still going to have a team. Salamence, you think it might be able to handle those two Mega like Primal Pokemon there, but it doesn't really do too well against them, even though their type advantage is so big there. Just also because you have like Outrage, which takes a long time, and you just still get so much damage just from the resisted fast move, which is just insane. Stuff which I actually expected to be a little bit higher would be something like the Mega Steelix as well, would be one of the bulkiest Pokemon. I'm really sad that I actually don't know where it is right now. Where's Aggron? Aggron at only 13.8. Like Aggron looked so good on paper before the Primals got announced, but of course both Primals completely annihilate this Pokemon. Plus Swampert came back in. Plus Gyarados still going to knock you out. Like this Pokemon looked so good before and now it looks so horrible. So I don't know, not really the best Pokemon anymore, but let's go right into the teams. The first team here going to be of course around the Groudon here. Primal Groudon going to be the most busted Pokemon. We're going to have a Say-Swap here, the Lugia, but you can also use something like the Dragonite as well as the Rayquaza in the back there. The common theme with the teams that you're going to see like in general in this video is that we're going to use a lot of similar Pokemon. This is just because the meta is so small. You have to try to answer somehow the Mega Pokemon that you're going to encounter, which are like around 5 different ones that are pretty viable with the same Pokemon, and they only like a few Pokemon like the Rayquaza or the Dragonite that are going to be really good against those. So it's a very tricky one to use Pokemon that are outside those Pokemon that you're going to see today in the video. Like no Garchomp would be able to really deal with it. Even Mewtwo, which you have in one team, going to be a little bit tricky. So we're going to go now into the next game, but like the next team here, but it's a very tricky meta to build around. Also, something that might be worth mentioning is that I'm going to showcase 8 unique Megas here, so like there won't be 2 teams for the same one, just because I want to showcase a few more than just the standard ones. Here we're going to have Kyogre, basically similar than the team before here. We're going to have, you can also use Lugia as a Say-Swap again, but I know a lot of people don't have this Pokemon because it hasn't been available for ages. Here we're going to have the Dialga as a Say-Swap, and also we're going to have the Rayquaza and the Dragonite in the back again that you can use. It's pretty much the same. You can beat basically most Pokemon with the Kyogre in the lead, other than some dragons. You have dragons in the back as well for that. Dialga is a very good dragon killer. It's just like the same stuff all over again. You're going to see a lot of teams with the Rayquaza and the Dragonite because those Pokemon are able to beat both the Kyogre as well as the Groudon, but only just barely really. Like it's not even the best matchup, even though you completely resist all the moves. It's still not very good. Let's go into the next team. The next team you're going to be a Lugia, the Dialga again, and also the Gyarados in the back. Gyarados most likely the best answer for both the Groudon as well as the Kyogre. You can also use it in the lead here. Use the Lugia as a Say-Swap and Dialga in the back. This would also work out pretty well. But again here, a Pokemon that we saw already before with the Lugia and Dialga. At least I don't have to put too many different Pokemon in there, I guess. But yeah, there's not a lot that you can really play around here. You're going to have 2 fighting type weaknesses in the back, so you have something in the lead that can deal with potential fighters. I don't really expect that we see a lot of fighters, but who knows. Same with, I don't really expect that we see a lot of fairy types because both of the, like every fairy type basically completely dies to Groudon and also dies to Kyogre, so it's a very risky play to use those Pokemon, so it's a little bit of an interesting meta in general. A lot of Pokemon that are good against the counter Pokemon for the top meta Pokemon are just too hard counter by the Mega Pokemon there that it's kind of unusable. Like those fairy types, you could maybe use like Mega Gardevoir where we don't have a team, but it's just not really worth it. Let's go into the next team. Fourth team here, we're going to have one around the Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert is actually an interesting one because you're going to be able to usually at least beat the Groudon in neutral scenarios. If they have one shield advantage, you're also gone because they can just go for abrasible plates and just outspeed you and knock you out immediately with a one-shot. But otherwise, it's still a very cool Pokemon. Being able to beat also something like Dialga might be good. Also, basically everything neutral it beats. The cool thing about this Pokemon is it basically has 0 weaknesses. The only weakness is Grass, and Grass is not really viable in the Master League. Other than one Pokemon that we're also going to take a look at later on, but it's very difficult to get. So yeah, we're going to have a lead here of a Dragon Pokemon just in case we face a Pokemon that has the Grass typing. And then we're going to have a Sasop of the Mewtwo, which is pretty neutral in the meta still. It's a very tricky one because I think Mewtwo is still going to lose a lot of matchups just because of the pure lack of bulk, but still a very cool Pokemon to use. And let's go into the next team. Next team here going to be around the Mega Latios here. Latios is way worse than Latios, so please go for Latios. As we're going to have here the lead of Kyogre and this Sasop again of the Dialga. Dialga are going to get out the Groudon for sure. If they have one, you're going to be able to then counter it with Kyogre. Kyogre's main goal here is to counter the Primal Groudon, even though I think it most likely going to need a shield for that as well again, because otherwise it won't be able to take one Precipice Blades, because nothing can take that. And we're going to have the Latios in the back that hopefully will be able to sweep endgame. Very, very strong attacker as you're going to be able to go for Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw, and the Luster Purge. Very, very, very good combination there, but it's going to be a tricky one to really play this Pokemon because there are so many other Mega Pokemon that are also very, very strong, but let's go to the next team. The Root here going to be the Pokemon that can break both the Mega Gyarados as well as the Mega Kyogre, so that's going to be an interesting Pokemon to take a look at. You can also use, though, here for this team, the Florges in the lead, which helps you out a little bit more against fellow Dragon-type Pokemon, as well as also still for the Gyarados there as well, which is part Dark-type and also has a Dragon-type fast move usually. Then we're going to have, as a Sasop here, I actually would use the Sasop, the Mega Pokemon here, which is Mega Charizard Y, which you can now give actually access to Wing Attack, which helps it out because it's Stab, and as well you're going to be able to resist the moves from the Groudon, so you're going to have a good answer for this Pokemon. And then the Groudon in the back there, which hopefully will be able to sweep endgame. It's a little bit tricky. Like if they have if they win the lead and they have a Kyogre in the back, it's basically game over for you already. It's a very tricky team, but it's just the best what I could get up with the Mega Charizard. The Mega Charizard has a lot of weaknesses like the Kyogre right now, so let's go into the next one. Second to last team here around the Mega Gengar. Going to be able to destroy, of course, potential Charm users if they actually come in handy there. But also you're going to have in the back there the Dragonite and also the Rayquaza both together. Because we need something that answers both the primal version of the Groudon and Kyogre. Because your lead doesn't do that and you need 2 answers for that. So here Dragonite Sasop because they have access to a superpower which can also deal then with potential Steel types in the back from the opponent, as well as you're going to have the Sweeper then endgame for the Rayquaza, which has access to the move that can debuff the opponent's attack, which might help as a sweeping tool anyway. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one to actually use Mega Gengar, but I kind of want to make a team for it. Let's go into the final one. The final team are going to be around Mega Salamence, which theoretically at least would be able to beat both the primal versions there, which in case then again like it does beat them, but it's just very, very close because those Pokemon are just way too broken. We're going to have the Groudon in the lead, potentially beating Steel types that you don't really want to face with your backline. You're going to have the Sasop of the Dialga, which will be pretty neutral against anything else. And then you're going to have, of course, the Salamence there in the back will be able to hopefully sweep endgame. Can try to get out potential Charm users of Fairy types with your Dialga as well, which help out the Pokemon. But in general, this is most likely the best team that you can build with this Pokemon. But yeah, to be fair, I am not really the biggest fan of this meta. I don't think this meta is good. I wouldn't really recommend you to play in this meta. Like everybody going to play either Groudon and Kyogre, and it's just going to mean RPS fest anyway. So let me know in the comment section what you think about this one. Are you rather playing the Hoeen Cup, which I'm most likely going to play? Let me know there, and I hope I see you in the next video. Also, if you play some games in either cup, you can always send me some footage with with a link in the description. And yeah, I see you in the next video. Have a great rest every day. Bye.